welcome to session 4 of 5 steps to publishing success. We are putting on these pop-up webinars for one purpose. We are wanting to help you understand what it takes to be successful in this industry. If you have written a book or if you're thinking about writing a book, the biggest issue you're going to deal with is how do I make that book successful? And so we're going over 5 steps to be successful in this industry, to make your book a success. And today we're talking about sales. Now, some people believe the word bestseller is a noun. Bestseller is not a noun. Bestseller is a verb. You cannot be a bestseller without the sales. You could be the best writer in the world, but without the selling, you will not be a best. So the takeaways that I want you to get today are going to be, I want you to understand the truth about book selling. That's right. I want to bust up the myths that we have in our mind about what it takes to sell books successfully. Secondly, we're going to understand the 3 components of book selling, and then there's identifying your sales targets. So let's get into it. What are the myths of book selling? I got these hot air balloons here, right? You've heard of people just blowing hot air. Well, we have a lot of ideas about what success looks like as an author, and it's a lot of hot air. The first myth is my book is so good, it will make millions. You can have the best book in the world, but if nobody knows it exists, you're not going to sell any books. Your book is not going to sell itself. It's not going to sprout legs and go door to door asking people to buy it. That is your job. Book selling is passive. This is a myth. Putting a book on Amazon or some third-party website is not sufficient. So your book is not going to draw attention just by the mere fact of being on an Amazon website. The publishers sell books. This also is inaccurate information. 95% of books that are written fail to make a profit because publishers don't sell books. Publishers publish books. When you write a book, you are creating your own business. And in fact, some of the traditional publishers now are not accepting books unless the author can prove they have a business plan, can prove they have a following of hundreds of thousands or millions of people. This is a business. Publishers are not going into business just because they love books. They're looking for people who can guarantee sales. Being in a bookstore will ensure more sales. This one is one that really hurts my heart because there are so many authors who just want to have their book in a bookstore, and they think if my book is in the bookstore, it's going to sell. Your book will not sell just because it's in a bookstore. Think about the competition in a book on a bookshelf with 500 books. What's going to make your book stand out? Being in a bookstore is not going to guarantee you sales. What you need to understand about bookstores is that your book is going to be sent back after 30 days. That's going to leave you with a bunch of damaged books and no money in hand. Posting on social media is sufficient to sell books. Posting on social media is not sufficient to sell books. It is one strategy of many. Let's talk about the 3 components of book selling. Component 1 is prospecting. You've got to go out and prospect, meaning you got to go out and talk to people. You've got to engage to find your audience. You've got to find them. Prospecting means that you're going out and you are looking for your target audience, okay? So when you're looking for your target audience, is your cold calling. Now this is one that everybody hates this notion. Nobody's comfortable with cold calling. Nobody's comfortable calling strangers and asking them to support you or to buy a product. You don't know who needs your book, and the people don't know that your book exists. So you've got to meet them halfway. Call them, let them know about your book, and ask them if they would like to buy a copy. The goal is to sell books, but when you're cold calling, your focus should be on introducing yourself, your brand, and your book. So cold calling is one of the prospecting options. Direct messaging. Now this is the power of social media. You can go into anybody's social media page except on LinkedIn. But even LinkedIn has a subscription where you can pay to message anyone. And you can go into their direct messaging and leave them a message. Direct messaging. This is a great way of prospecting. I had a coach who once, she would just go in people's DMs and she would say, have you heard about my new webinar? Of course they haven't heard about it. They don't know her, but it doesn't matter because if they're interested, they're going to look further. Knocking on doors. I mean, when I wrote my first book and I was beating myself up trying to figure out why can't I sell more books? What do I need to do? And then it hit me. I live in a neighborhood of people who don't even know I've written a book. So I decided I'm going to go door to door, tell them I've written a book and ask for their support. Do you know that I had one neighbor who got upset because I didn't come to her when I first wrote the book? This is a part of selling books. Yes, we are like the door-to-door salespeople. I know we despise them, but if you want to succeed, if you want to sell books, you've got to get over that fear and you got to go out and start going door to door, business to business. Wherever there are people, there are potential customers. Pitching. You've got to have a pitch for your book. Don't go to and ask people to buy your book, and when they ask you what your book is about, you go rambling on for 10 minutes about how good the book is and the different characters in the book. You need to develop a strong, concise pitch about a few things. One, what the book is about, how the book solves problems for your readers, and the value that the book gives to a person's life. Those are the things. Why? Because people don't care about your book. They only care about themselves. People care about what's in it for me. So having something to say is just as important as having someone to say it to write out your script, write out your pitch. I want you to memorize that pitch and perfect it, so that once you start getting people on the phone, getting people face to face, then you'll be able to do what? Close them. This is the third component of book selling, closing. Everyone you talk to is not going to immediately buy. So the statistics is you have to touch someone 7 to 15 times to get them to take action. You got to learn how to close the deal. Get them back on the phone. I don't care if it's for one book or 1,000 books. You got to give the same energy to that potential reader. Closing means following up. You've got to touch them 7 to 15 times to get them to take action. You need to develop the skill of influence. Okay? Now, when we talk about influence, you've got to learn how to talk to people, how to get them excited, how to get their heart pumping, right? How to get them to buy into what you're saying in order to close the deal. Now, let's talk about your sales targets. There are 3 areas that we're going to focus on. We're going to target individuals. These are easy. When I wrote my first book, I would walk up to people and I would say, hey, did you get my book yet? Now, of course they didn't get my book, right? They didn't know I wrote a book. That's okay. It opened up the conversation in a very relaxed manner. It made them feel like we had a relationship. Most people said, no, I didn't know you had a book. They were excited. And in that moment, when you have that excitement, things work out in your favor better. So you want to focus on individuals. Now, here's the thing. When you go pro and you have a pro mindset, any individual is a potential sale. Anyone you come in contact with. Here's an exercise I offered in my book, 5K the Right Way. I said, take a pen and paper and throughout the day, just put a check mark for every person that you talk to, everyone you smile at, everyone you give a head nod, heads up, everyone that you engage with. Just put a check on your paper. And what this does, it allows you to see how many people you truly come in contact with every day. Sometimes we don't pay attention to the opportunities that are right before us until we open our eyes to see. So, you may find that you come in contact with 20 to 50 people a day that you have engaged with in some way, shape, or form. When you go pro, you understand that's an opportunity. That's a sales opportunity. And you don't let those opportunities go by without taking advantage of them. What if you ran into 20 new people a day and you prospect each of those people? What if you were able to close 50% of those people? That's 10 books a day. You want to target groups. Listen, bring people together. Bring small groups together. Instead of selling one book at a time, figure out ways to sell 10 books, 20 books, 50 books. You could do that by doing book clubs, book signings. You can do small, intimate events where book talks. And lastly, let's talk about businesses, organizations, and colleges. If your book has some kind of corporate value or some kind of value to a group, an organization, or a college, a business, then that's a great opportunity for bulk sales, right? So if you have a book that can benefit a business, why not pitch your book to that business for all of their employees? Why not pitch your book to a college to teach to its students, right? Why not pitch your book to a nonprofit organization to give away to all of their clients? So you want to look for bulk sales. You want to progressively go from one person at a time to selling hundreds, thousands of books to one organization. All right, I want you to go deeper. I cannot emphasize it enough. 15 minutes is not enough time to change your life. It's not enough time to move the needle on your progress. So I am offering the 5K. This is my book where I show you how to generate no less than $5,000 with your book. Whether that's $5,000 a week, $5,000 a month, $5,000 a year. This book is going to give you the fundamental steps of what it takes to generate that kind of money. And once you understand the system, right? Once you understand the structure, then all you have to do is duplicate and amplify the efforts to get more results. I'm also offering the Author Incubator, where I'm going to give you 6 weeks of coaching and strategy sessions to help you develop the system and the strategies to generate more income with your book. Now I'm offering a special innovators discount. This discount is offered only to those who watch this webinar. Sign up within 24 hours. You're going to get both the 5K the Right Way book club and the Author Incubator, total of $550, nearly $550 value. You're going to get it for $399. You all have a wonderful day, and I look forward to our next session where we're going to talk about scaling from book to business.